Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Now today we're discussing a 500-piece limited edition in red gold, originally retailed in 2006. This is the Ulysse Nardin GMT Perpetual, a 500-piece special series with a fetching combination of red case and copper dial. It is a scintillating compound complication. At 42 millimeters in diameter, the watch is 13.4 millimeters thick from lug to lug, 49.9 millimeters, and it has a broad 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Thrown on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, it is broad, but it wears well. The case lines are fairly strong, and the watch itself is physically massive, so you know where the money was spent. It has a lot of personality on the wrist, but it's not necessarily too thick for a dress cuff, so consider this a sporty watch that could easily be your dress complication. I can recommend it for a wrist as small as about 15 centimeters in circumference. I probably wouldn't go any smaller than that just because of the strength of the lugs themselves. Now, taking a quick look at the hardware and the software, I should mention another factor in the fit of this watch is the fact that the UN factory strap is designed to conform to the case flank, which looks great because it's entirely integrated. It's very coherent. You have the slope of the lugs matching the slope of the strap, the curvature of the case matching the curve of the end profile of the strap, and then there's a lot of bolstering or stuffing to add volume. The leather is a sort of medium brownish red. I would describe it as roughly adobe. It's a semi-gloss finish, large rectangular scale alligator leather. It has a folded edge, a monotone stitch, and as we take a look at the calf skin on the bottom, you can see this is a brand new Ulysse Nardin factory strap. The buckle here is a double fold, which I like because it's less likely to pinch a small wrist. It's handsomely finished, a combination of polish and media blasting, and you can see the use of ceramic spring-loaded pin snaps as the gold cannot aggress against the ceramic, so the tight, snappy tolerances are maintained over time. The swing arm on the buckle side is used as a spring for the twin trigger release system, so on a large, heavy, and expensive watch, you have the security of trigger release. It's not friction fit. Rolling around to the case profile, this could not be anything but a Ulysse Nardin. Their characteristic oversized bulbous lugs with a little bit of fluting on their profiles to lend elegance. They make themselves known. They're sharply broken out from the case. This is the kind of sharp break with the case line that we associate, for example, with Blancpain timepieces. Everything is of high polish, and you can see that the bezel is stepped out from the case band, so it breaks up the mass and profile. And the bezel also has a concave profile, again, to make it look visually less massive. We have symmetrical wing profiles on each side, and you can see most of the winglet profile doesn't actually have a functional purpose on the 9 o'clock side. It's designed to visually balance the crown assembly. What you're looking at on both sides is a plus-minus system. This was originally launched by Ulysse Nardin during the 1990s at the urging of watchmaker Ludwig Oxlin, who was Mr. Ulysse Nardin during those years. One of his many great works, this plus or minus system, is an absolute cinch for changing the local hour while you travel. Everything else, including the second time zone, stays perfectly synced, and you can see how I'm able to drive the date forward and backwards, the entire calendar really, using these plus-minus adjusters. Now, the timepiece, of course, features a lovely lacquered inlay and Ulysse Nardin crown, and you can see that the dial is a handsome wave pattern designed to remind you of the nautical heritage of Ulysse Nardin, which during the 19th and most of the 20th century, known for its deck clocks or marine chronometers for navigation. The dial is a lovely copper tone, and you can see there's a Rehaut or sloped flange outboard that's used for reading the 24-hour second time zone. Of course, when you pull the crown out, now you can move everything in sync, and you can see that 24-hour second time zone moving along. You can also see that if I wish, I can adjust the perpetual calendar bi-directionally. Let me show you that with the hour hand moved out of the way. First of all, take note. I'm able to adjust the calendar in both directions. October becomes November, and then we jump back to October. There are very few perpetual calendars, basically this and Moser, and maybe Grubel Forsey, that allow you to adjust a calendar in both directions. The perpetual calendar that can move in both directions will require no correction in the year 2100, and thus no trip back to the factory. This is a remarkable feat of engineering. You can also see that it is a comprehensive perpetual calendar and easy to read with aperture-style displays, as you get a big date You get the day, the month, and the year. Heck, you even get the decade. All of that is automated. The dial features applique rose gold tri-Arabic numerals 12, 3, and 6. And if you look closely, we also have applique indices that will loom at night. Blued hands at center in skeleton fashion, so you can see the calendars below. And if you can read on the second sub-register, yes, the watch is a certified Swiss chronometer. Limited edition of 500 pieces. You can see that inside we have a lacquered inlay, inside a white gold double finished rotor. We have caliber UN32, you know, because the first two numbers of the reference number are 32. It's based distantly on the Lemania caliber, but they made it their own. Bi-directional winding, you can see through the skeletonized bridge, there's a magic lever pawl-based winding system. 48-hour power reserve, it beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour. It's a dual time as well as a perpetual calendar. And you can see that it's nicely finished with real fired blue screws, lovely circular Cote de Genève. It pivots on 34 joules, and there is engine turning on the base plate. It's handsomely detailed and water resistant down to 30 meters. This timepiece is sporty, not necessarily a swimmable sports watch, but a very sporty dress complication. Reach out to Tim Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.